Hell yeah. Oh man. Oh, dude, we're at 110.
This is fun. Take off.
Talk about merchandising. This is my shit. Buy it. Class is over. They were like, you know, do you need anything? I'm like, this is a microphone. I'm like, I don't even know if I need a microphone. It's like, well, they got me Hello Kitty pencils. Like I am. The store sells Hello Kitty pencils? And now yours changed since I last there. I want to see my page.
Back page.
Back page. What am I doing on the back page?
Inner back page.
Oh, inner back page. That's where I'm like, oh, I'm hot. Oh, I'm blooming.
The only one who gets on the page. Yeah, you're that awesome.
You're that awesome.
And there's a typo. Me do me. Oh my god. Oh, screw you guys. I'm gonna go get a drink. I won't wait for people to come in though, but yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, actually I forget too, I'll just tell you what I'm gonna go to after this. I got a Q&A panel after this, but I forget the time. 3:30. Yep. 3:30? Okay, tell me the rest of my schedule.
Come over to my house for dinner.
And then you do autographs.
Don't remember that. Okay, so this goes till I think 2, right? Okay, this goes till 2. And then yeah, and then 3:30 I got the Q&A here, and then I think it was
4:30 autographs.
Oh, 4:30 autographs. Yeah. So yeah. So and I think that's also in this room too. Yeah. So everyone, this is pretty much the Doug room. This is the Doug zoo with Hello Kitty pencils.
Dig Doug.
I do wonder if they did that on purpose, or just like, you know, which one is the one Doug's gonna be in? Little name tags. They'll write who I am so you all know. So everyone gets confused. I should use somebody. Wow. Okay, Doug. Well, that's great. Tell me about yourselves. You.
Do you or anybody in the room mind if I record this?
I wouldn't mind, but do it anyway to piss me off. Because this play you're seeing me pissed off is how I make a living.
I'm recording anyway.
Yeah, no, anyone who wants to record it, you can. As far as I know, I don't know if the con has anything against like don't record anything, but
I asked them. They just said to ask you to make sure it's okay with the room.
Yeah,
But I'm not
I mean,
going to shoot the room.
with the owner of the room, I mean, what's... I've had this room since 1925. No one's ever shot in here. And they will not hurt my Hello Kitty pencils. They've been here since 1955. Even though I think she was invented in 75, but I had the idea in 55 and made pencils out of them. Those pencils older than you. So actually, yeah, while we got there, like I said, I'll wait for people to come in. It's a typical NIU students late for everything. I will just, while we go just do a little Q&A here, actually just go ahead and get that out of the way for later. Yeah.
Where did you stay freshman year?
Where did I stay freshman year? Actually, I wasn't here freshman year. I was here for the last 2 years. I did a freshman year and sophomore year in COD, actually, to get the hard stuff out of the way. Because I'm not doing the hard stuff here. I was going to say, you can spread out the seats? Come on, they don't smell that bad. I mean, I know it's a con, but you know, do what I do. Hold your breath. Smile through your mouth. You get used to it. There's a few, yeah, there's like a seat up there, there's a seat right there, and stuff like that. You're gonna hurt so many people's feelings. So, oh yeah, you got a question, yeah. Yeah, PK, yeah.
What was the deal with you being in that annoying orange show?
I was in the Annoying Orange Show?
What?
Was I really?
TV adaptation?
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you were. It said so on Wikipedia.
Well, Wikipedia said Actually, the weirdest thing was on Internet Movie Database. It had me listed as like Mr. Freeze and something. I'm like, what? Like my Tyler Durden personality is going out acting in Batman spin-offs. As far as I know, unless I was really drunk, I wasn't in a show. So that is false. That's false banana.
My bad.
You should be. You laughed at that. It didn't even make sense. My bad. You should be. I'll take one more question before we go to the actual panel. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw recently that you were actually immortalized in an anime with James Rolfe.
Yeah.
How does that feel now?
Same as before it, I guess. People are still sending me like, "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it happened like 2 months ago." No, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's like I have no idea why. It's just like, oh. That's all I say. I am going to be up at the con I'm going to called Retro Con that I'm going to see James Rolfe in as well. I'm going to try and see if we can get a picture of us posing. I don't even know if I'll post anywhere. It'll just be from my personal collection to jerk off to. Okay, so let's actually start this panel here. This panel, even though I'm in the center of it with the microphone and stuff like this panel is actually very much going to be about you guys. Because what I discover, even though, for those who don't know, I have an internet show where I go on and I make fun of movies. I look very much like that person right there. And pretty much what, I go on and I yell and I scream at movies, and if someone disagrees with me, I say, you're wrong! But what people forget is that it is largely a character, and that really so many people, I've seen so many people, some of our producers, who get really angry when someone has a different opinion. Like, how can you think that? How can you da-da-da? And what I've discovered is that the more you talk to people about their different points of view on lots of things, but here specifically movies, you can find out more about them. And if, instead of having like a fight about, whether or not you like the film or don't like the film or whatever, you can actually find out why they like something. Like maybe, what's a terrible movie? Batman and Robin. Well, let's say that. Let's say someone, actually a lot of people have come up and say, I really like that movie. And I say, well, cool, why'd you like it? And they say, well, because I connected to childhood. I remember growing up with it and the bright colors and playing with the toys. And just when I think of it, I remember being a child and it just the innocent times and everything. It's like, nothing wrong with that at all. Like that's really cool that something can, open up this nice memory that you have. And I say, but did you think it was good? They'll say, no, it was shit. No, but it's the same thing, even if, and we'll go into that. We'll go into like guilty pleasures and movies that, you shouldn't like, but you do, or nostalgic movies, all these things. There's different reasons that people like different movies. It's art, and there's no right or wrong answer. There's no book that says, this is factually a good movie, this is factually a wrong movie. What we get caught up in is that we get caught up in, patterns and stuff that keeps coming up that suggests, oh hey, this is really showing us something we haven't thought about before, or reinforcing something that a lot of people connect to. And a lot of it just comes back to majority and waves. Like, a movie can bomb at the box office, but years later can be really, really popular. It's a Wonderful Life, that bombed. Vertigo, that bombed. A lot of Jimmy Stewart movies bombed the more I think about it. But bottom line, but somewhere down the line, a wave of people or talking or whatever have come around to make those movies. I mean, now people say they're classics, like some of the best movies ever made. So there's no right and wrong with film. The best thing to do is just justify it as much as you can and explain as much as you can. Actually, I say not even justify it, just explain it. Because you don't need to justify. There's nothing you need to prove when it comes to film. You're just explaining what it did for you, or maybe why it angered you. So if someone offers an opinion, don't say, you're wrong! Go ahead and listen and find out. Ask why. And you might be surprised what you find out. So, okay, actually, I'll start, because that's usually what I do. I'll start with a movie that, like, wait, you want one everybody hates or everybody likes?
Either one.
Everybody hates.
Okay, movie everybody hates, but I like. I did a list on this, and now I'm totally blanking. Atlantis, The Lost Empire. I liked it.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it.
But now I will acknowledge watching it years later, that is pretty stupid. But I still think it had a lot of good ideas. I thought it had a lot of cool characters, a lot of great visuals. I like Atlantis. I like the way they made the people look at Atlantis. I thought it was a very distinct culture they created. And it was very clunky. And if you were to ask me, well, would you say it's like a good movie or recommend it to people? I would say if you like this, but in terms of like a grand scale of is this like a Beauty and the Beast or a Lion King or something like that? Probably not. I don't think it pleased as many people, and it didn't. It turns out. But I think there's enough there for me to really say, hey, there's something worth looking at for people that like the stuff I like. A lot of people hate that movie. For those that like it, a lot of people hate that movie. And not with unjust reasons, but I really enjoy it. I think there's a lot to really find cool there. So yeah, with that said, I'm just going to turn it now to you guys. If you have a movie just everyone disagrees with you on, just raise your hand and explain it. Pink eye.
For some reason, when I was 8, I used to like Son of the Mask. I feel sorry about it now.
I am so sorry. but now do you still? It's okay if you do.
I don't care about it anymore.
You don't care about it anymore?
So I don't remember the scene with that baby, with that peeing scene.
Yeah, maybe they finally edited that out. I don't know. Maybe I got the double X version or something. No, with extra P. But that brings us to something though too. You said you liked it when you were younger, correct?
Yeah.
And that can often connect to something too, like a movie that I acknowledge is not a good movie, but I really like because of the nostalgic value, is the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes!
Like,
All right.
I love it. Like, to me, I'm just like, oh my god, this is like my childhood! Or what's another, the one I actually couldn't review it because it was just too nostalgic. Was the bird? No. I really hate that one. But Follow That Bird, the Sesame Street movie. And there's nothing to that movie. It's just a Sesame Street movie, but I'm like, Bird and Ernie! Bird's crying, no! It can bring back these childhood memories. And if something brings back childhood memories, that's fine. But I would argue it's usually good that if somebody's like, nah, I didn't like it, I didn't think the story worked very well, or the characters, whatever, it is still usually good to make it clear in your head what is nostalgia and what's actually what you consider good. Because if you're going to go and, write other films or critique other films or stories or whatever, and you want to draw comparisons to what are good examples of what you're looking for, it's good to clarify whether or not they're actually really good examples that you stand by, or if it's just nostalgia. Because nostalgia is, as I well know, a very powerful element. It can cloud your mind. I mean, that's one of the reasons I did the characters, because when I was looking back at all the stuff I grew up with, doing they don't make them like they used to. I'm like, oh, they didn't make them very good. A lot of it is just the nostalgia. There's a lot of that, of liking something when you were younger, and when you're older, it's like, ooh, that didn't hold up. But, it may still have a sentimental place. So, yeah.
Does your nostalgia for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles extend to the time-traveling adventures of the second sequel?
What, that piece of shit? No. No, 3 never.
It's not called
No, 3 was the Sesame Street movie. 3 is like when Splinter comes out, it's like, it's the Muppet Show, yeah! And the only reason I didn't review that, I do this, I review technically all three movies in this one review. But when I get to 3, it's just me crying in a bathtub, going, ah! The only reason I didn't go into great detail about that is because Rolf's review, if you haven't seen it, is so detailed. And just there's one joke, I think, where he's like, what was it, like, they come in, they're like, turtles. And he's like, you were expecting the Addams family? Yeah. And it's like, okay, here's like the 10 reasons this joke doesn't work. I mean, he just like analyzed the hell out of it. I'm just like, okay, there's nothing else I can add to this. So I didn't even go into great detail. But if you want to see that really analyze like how bad it is, watch that review. It's great fun. Redhead.
Yeah. It's okay if I say something like one I didn't like and one I did like?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Like one I don't like but has a huge cult following, The Boondock Saints.
Oh, there's a lot of people that don't like that movie. Actually, Brad Jones hates that movie.
Yeah, I just find that it had a really good idea. I mean, I love that whole, we're sent from God to kill people. I mean, there's so much you can do with that, but honestly, one of the things that I love, but it was just written off as like a quick joke. They know all of these languages, and I'm just someone who loves languages. And I'm like, this could be pretty awesome, but nope, you see it when he messes with a cop. And when I see a plot like this, I see something really serious and gritty, but what we get is Willem Dafoe and drag, and him wildly shooting into the air while the guy's behind him like, yeah, this happens every day for Willem Dafoe. And then one I did like, but people did like it, but didn't get it financially well, was Rise of the Guardians.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I loved it because honestly, I have never felt more like a kid again while watching that. I mean, because I love Jack Frost. I mean, I always loved the Jack Frost character ever since I saw like this little holiday short on ABC.
The stop
Yeah, stop
motion.
It's recognized, but God, I love it. And there are some parts where, well, the thing is, it's based on a book series.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's set 300.
I bet they are. I bet they do really cool.
The thing is, like, it's set 300 years after these books take place, which is a good idea and bad idea because it's not a very well-known series. So people say like, yeah, it's not really set up. They're thrust into action too quickly. It's like people haven't really read the books. They don't know where the bad guy came from or anything. So.
Huh, I did not know. God, that explains a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Because that actually was, I like the film okay, but that was one of my problems. I'm like, dude, we're just sort of jumping into a lot of this stuff. I didn't know it was actually like, this is following on the heels of a series of books.
It's still going on now, so.
Huh, okay. No, that's really cool. Okay, so, well, here, go
One
ahead.
more question. Do you plan to do like a DreamWorks area on that one, or do you think you covered it enough in
I think I reviewed it like 2 or 3 times, I think, already.
I think it was just a sibling rivalry one.
But I mean, that's my straightforward.
Yeah.
The communicator right back then.
No, but I mean, that's my straightforward thought, I pretty much say. It's like, I think there's problems with it, you know, particularly in the pacing, but I'm like, it's creative enough, you know, and just the visuals and the motions, I think, are so good. So, yeah, I mean, if there was more I could add to it, I'd probably do one, but I'm just like, yeah, I've talked about it. Okay, so going to Boondock Saints. You know, a lot of people, probably to that movie's, you know, delight, you know, has people either loving or hating it. I just know, I heard so many people talk about it, I'm finally like, okay, well, I should see this damn movie. So I saw it, I think, about a year ago. And I was very indifferent to it. You know, I always find when people are like really split, like, you either love it or hate it, I'm always like, yeah, it's okay. But I think the reason... You say you didn't? Yeah, you didn't like it, right? For me, a lot of ways, my favorite part, which is also probably the worst part of the movie, is when Willem Dafoe is like conducting in front of the explosion. I mean, it's so over the top, and it's so great. And for me, I sort of say like, well, I can give myself to this cheesiness, like the 80s and stuff like that, and I can give myself a little bit to what it's trying to do with just totally like, whatever, fight back against authority and stuff. Because I think especially back then, no, actually, there's a fair amount of films that were doing that, the fight against authority. But it was trying to die down after the 70s. So here's one that's like, okay, here's a sort of a different look at how, you know, your system is screwing you over and whether or not it is or isn't right to fight back with violence, or is it ever right? It's one of those things where, you know, so I am sort of with you, and I think those movies are always going to exist. Like V for Vendetta sort of did the same thing. There's always going to be is it ever right to rise up and, you know, kill, essentially, when your government's going too far, or when people in power are going too far.
Well, I felt that V for Vendetta did it better, much better than Boondock Saints, because you actually have some decent characters. They're fun to watch.
You know, what's funny about that movie is so many people recognize the mask and what the movie is about, but I don't think they ever remember much of the details about. Like, if you were to say, what does that mask mean? Oh, that means rise up against the government. V for Vendetta. What's the movie about? That? What's the name of the character? Natalie Portman was in jail, but wasn't. Remember that. You know, it's like, I really do find that it's like, again, that's one of the big pluses of just good marketing, is that I think a lot of people that wear that mask and use it on interviews and stuff like that half the time probably haven't seen the movie, but they know what that mask means because of the marketing.
Well, at least sometimes, maybe they might get a curiosity for the mask, like, okay, finally, maybe that...
Maybe they'll fart, yeah.
Yeah, eventually, I hope so, else they'll probably combust. it's sort of like with the Anastasia movie, like it'll get kids like interested in history somewhat.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's always good to question. It's good to question authority. It's good to question those in power. I mean, always. I mean, we're all human. And that was the Rise of the Guardians was the other one. Yeah, I'm guessing that movie didn't do well because maybe there was a little too much going on, and it was such a dark-looking movie, but not. Which is funny because there are some very imaginative, colorful things, but it's very busy. And there's few moments. I was actually, my uncle's a critic, and we were talking about this. Films right now, I think, are so concerned about looking good in the trailer that they almost move the camera and fill the screen with so much, a little too much. So that when you need those moments where you need to stand still and just let a scene play, or just take a breath, you don't get as many as you probably need. And that was one of the problems I did have with the film, and I think possibly in the advertising, they just threw so much at you, and sort of like, wait, what was that? I don't know. What's that movie? But yeah, I thought it was decent. I think that's one of those that's going to get a following in the future. I hate the cover for it. It's like, it's an Easter movie.
I don't get
Oh man, and probably for that reason, probably because a lot of people saw it's like, oh man, this looks really dark and gray and stuff. It's like, no, it's an Easter movie. You really big shit. So, but yeah, I like it. I get a feeling a lot more people are going to be liking that one too. So I did a lot of time on that one. I'm sorry.
This one's pure nostalgia, and I can definitely see why people who have heard of the movie will say it's terrible. But Water Babies?
Water Babies?
What? Nanny?
It's kind of an obscure thing. It was like the first half of the movie was in live action, and then this kid falls in the water, and like the thieves that were using him to break into this house expected him to drown, and then it goes into like this animated underwater thing, and he ends up running across like this butch Scottish lobster and a gay seahorse.
That's a stereotype of seahorses, my friend.
A fish, swordfish, and they end up meeting basically Poseidon, and then he calls the Kraken and to help them get back to.
You did say Kraken, right? Not Crackhead.
Kraken.
Because that'd be an awesome movie if he called it a Crackhead.
It's British and it's from the early '80s, and I watched it all the time as a kid. If you're looking for something new, you could for nostalgia, you could look that up.
Oh, I see how it works. You're just trying to recommend something. Yeah. Like, what? Wow, maybe I should review it. Maybe you should. I made it.
Because it actually is pretty bad, you're looking back.
But you enjoy it because of the nostalgia.
Yes.
It just brings back all these old
Yeah,
memories.
nothing but nostalgia.
I remember there was a time, really where this all started, I think it was when I was going here actually. I started going through the nostalgic phase. I think everybody does. Half of you are wearing nostalgia t-shirts. But pretty much I was going through the nostalgia phase, and I just wanted to watch all the old cartoons I grew up with. And I didn't care the looks I got from the video stores. And I remember this one time, I got the Smurfs and the Magic Flute or something. and I went out to rent it, and the woman just looks at it and just looks at me and goes, Smurfs, huh? I just went, fuck yeah. I'm just gonna own it.
Smurf Olympics.
Smurf Olympics? Is that
You
a real
haven't
thing?
seen that one either?
Is that Smurfs 3?
No, I think it was a TV special that was like a half an hour or an hour long or something like that. But it was, they did have an athletic competition and the torch and everything.
Oh, we got a torch? Really? The Smurfs?
Yeah.
You just seem so excited about that torch. The torch and everything. No, I have not seen that, but maybe I'll check it out. I actually might check out that
If you
Water
like
Babies.
Smurfs, that one you need to look at.
I don't like Smurfs, but again, the nostalgia thing. So let's do a white hat thing.
Thank you. 1, I love your work. 2, I found out they have the Animaniacs back on cartoons.
On the hub, right?
Yeah.
Remember, it's reruns, right? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I have all the DVDs. Every time someone's like, it's back on, I'm like, I own them. It's like, I don't have to wait for a time, I can just push play. But no, it's cool. I'm glad there's an audience for it. But yeah, keep going.
And 3, I was ever wondering, did you ever plan on doing a review of the Star Wars movie? Because please, no one kill me when I say this. I kind of liked the prequel trilogy. No one kill me.
Oh, you mean reviewing the prequels?
Yeah, that.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people, I've done this panel a few times. There's almost always one Batman Robin, and there's almost always one the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It says I like the Phantom Menace. Now, usually, again, it connects a little bit to the nostalgia, but there have been people who are like, no, I like that they're trying to get like a government issue in there. It wasn't like just good and evil. It was like people talked about things and how do we get to this point and stuff. And so now, what did you enjoy about it?
Mainly, I liked the few scenes where they actually got shit done.
Well, now, okay, so did you actually like it, or were you more like, I like these few scenes? I mean, what's...
I remember, I liked watching it. The government thing, that kind of bummed me out when I was younger, because I'm like, dudes, this would be so much better. I just thought, screw it, cut out the government shit, just have Anakin and Obi-Wan being like, pair of good guy buddy cops, and you get so much better. Because like in the third movie, in the third of the prequels, when Anakin gets his ass handed to him, you're not just saying finally the guy's getting what owed to him, and like you're supposed to feel bad for him.
I will say, out of all the movies, the first two I'm like, you can just have, but my brother brought up a really good point when the third one came around. I was sort of saying, I'm like, we're giggling at, but I'm leaning over to him, I'm like, I kind of like this one a little bit. And he was saying, yeah, like, it's the first time, even though we didn't think it was technically good, we're like, it's the first time it felt like a Star Wars movie. Yeah. And like, as you said, shit was getting done. And something he brought up, that's such a good point, he said, why do there have to be 3 movies? Why didn't we just start here? Why didn't we just do this one movie? And I was thinking about it, I was like, you very well could have done that. Everything is set up in that film, with them fighting. Okay, Anakin and him are friends. He was, he's going out with this woman and got her pregnant. They're going to have a child. They have to keep it secret. It's like everything was explained. So I found that very interesting. But, but then, no! But no, I always come across, somebody that likes, the prequels of the first film and stuff like that. You're definitely not alone on that.
Okay, because I was afraid everyone here was going to kill me like the time you reviewed Ponyo.
That was so much fun. and that was, every time I was saying I was going to review Ponyo, that was pretty much the reaction. You were just like, no, don't do it, it's a darling. Yeah, let's see. Don't they heard from you, Star Wars? Sure.
Some movie that I think like everybody loves, but I didn't think was that great was The Dark Knight Rises. And
that's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And a movie that I really liked.
Hold on. High five!
Never wash that hand again.
I hate that movie.
And a movie that I really like and that I sort of grew up with, but I don't think a lot of people like, is I, Robot. With Will Smith.
The Will Smith one?
Oh, I love that
I had
movie.
to take back your high five. No. Well, Dark Knight Rises, you don't even have to explain. I mean, what? For the hell.
Do you think it deserves an 8.5 on IMDb?
No, the ratings on the internet, don't trust that, because they can get, like, friends, or people are like, would it be funny if this movie got a high rating? I mean, don't trust that, but for the hell, what did you like about Dark Knight Rises?
I don't really like Anne Hathaway. Like, I'm just not really a fan.
That's alright. That's the one thing I did like.
Well, and there were just so many moments where I was like, just eye rolling. Like, is this really happening? And, like, just really corny moments that I thought like it seemed a little rushed. Like the script seemed kind of like.
And it's ironic because it's almost 3 hours. It's like, yeah, why? Oh, okay. I shouldn't go off. I could go off on that movie for hours. I will say this about Anne Hathaway, though, is that I think she did good, but I will also say that, unlike, a lot of the arcade ones like Michelle Pfeiffer, or even like the Adam West ones like Eartha Kitt and stuff like that, it seems very much like what she gave could have been given by a lot of actresses. So I'm like, it's not bad, but it wasn't super distinct.
Yeah.
I would like something a little bit more distinct. In terms of other reasons not to like them, I'm like, yeah. Has anyone seen the Honest trailers of Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
That's the fun. I love the guy being, oh man, I'm really worried about Man of Steel now. and the Red Letter Media guys coming in just listing all the plot points that don't make sense. I loved it. So what's it? iRobot. What would you like about iRobot?
I don't like. I think people's biggest critique is that it has nothing to do with the book, and people forget that that book is really a collection of short stories, and so like the movie sort of encompassed some of them, and people also didn't like that it was almost like a big marketing campaign for sneakers and.
For sneakers?
Well, because he's like, circa 2005 or whatever, kicks or. I don't know.
Oh, right. I know
The Nikes, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's people sort of think, I don't know, that it wasn't that great of a movie, but I don't think it's really meant to be taken seriously, or that seriously.
Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. In terms of, like, you think it was sort of like, you see it as like, just a fun action flick, pretty much, right? And that's sort of what I thought I was going to get going in. I'm like, oh, it was, okay.
I think it had a message, but it wasn't supposed to be like, take this seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's Will Smith still being Will Smith, you know. Will Smith as a cop in the future, you know. I mean, it's like, and he can act. I don't like saying that because he can act. He can do very serious stuff. But Will Smith is a cop in the future. I mean, it's still, yeah. I mean, I'm sort of with you on that. For me, it's a little boring. That was my problem. And so maybe if they did do a little bit more of a message or something to, or a few more twists, but. I know people that like that movie, okay. I think you're probably right. I think people thought, because I guess iRobot is like a really famous story.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, when it's Will Smith in the future, you know, that can just throw a lot of people off. So, no, I see where you're coming from with that. Let's see, let's do some of the best. Do short hair with glasses there.
Okay, so the movie that I love that everyone hates is Maximum Overdrive.
Stephen King?
Oh, is that the Stephen King? Is that the Green Goblin truck?
There's Karoshi Smith in it.
Amelia
As in,
Estevez?
You're Smith like Lisa Simpson? Oh, okay.
And the movie that everyone loves that I hate is Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, I'll talk about that one. But well, with Maximum Overdrive, I haven't seen it, but I really want to because I've seen people talk about it. Yeah, it looks like one of those where it's so batshit crazy over the top that it's enjoyable, right? Is that sort of it? Yeah, that's what I've heard about it too.
I mean, you just want to watch people get like killed or being violated.
I do.
And like small toasters.
I gotta see that movie. That sounds like great fun. With Inglourious Basterds, what didn't you like about Inglourious Basterds?
I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. Like, I'm a huge Tarantino fan and I love all his films, but for some reason there's just so many parts of it that didn't sit well. Like, I think I liked the Bastards part of it. Like, I thought they were really neat, but then everything else I just really could care less about.
Yeah, you know.
I wanted them just the little band going off and doing things rather than the overarching story.
Oh, one of my favorite, you've probably seen these honest posters. I think they're on College Humor, I can't remember, but they're, if posters told the truth, and Inglourious Basterds, it's like false advertising. It's like Brad Pitt's barely in it, it's mostly in French. And I think that's very true. I'm sort of with you that I actually think it was one of Tarantino's weaker films, honestly. And that's not to say I dislike it, because I was into it. I want to know what's going to happen. And I like a lot of scenes, but it seemed like, here's some cool scenes. Any of these could have been a good short film. You know, and they are tied together sort of-ish, you know. But we killed Hitler, awesome!
Not even how he
really
died.
good actor guy, he's gonna be awesome in Django also. I know where you're coming from with that, and I did feel that was kind of weird. That's like Brad Pitt comes out and they have like the name and what he does and stuff, and the other guys' names and what they do, and yet they're barely in it, and they barely do anything. So it's, I don't know. It's like, it almost seemed like two movies are trying to be told, and they didn't. It's like, a little bit of this, a little bit. Inglourious Basterds of Tarantino, you gotta like it. And Hitler dies. How can you not? Are you anti-killing Hitler? So I don't know. I saw it. There's a lot of stuff I loved in it, but I kind of agree. I think it's a bit of a mess too. So yeah, you're not alone. At least you got one other person. I think. Let's go somewhere over here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've always wanted to ask you this.
No, it's just, you're just handing it over to her, and she's just like, yeah. Oh, I'm your camera woman. Okay.
All right.
Should I just keep the camera on you the whole time?
You can do that when we get home. But aside from the first Ninja Turtles movie, my favorite childhood movie was Space Jam.
Yeah, well, you definitely see that.
How did you not like it?
Oh, how can I not like it? It's awful. Oh, no, I hate that. But I was the exact wrong, well, both the exact right and the exact wrong age. I was the right age in that I grew up with the commercials. I don't know how many you know. They're all based on the Michael Jordan.
Right.
He did commercials with Nike and stuff. I mean, it's the fact they're making a movie about that. I was just like, how? You know, and there's some things to like. I think the animation is pretty cool. I think actually that's really good Warner Bros. Animation. But yeah, it just seemed like, hey, here's a commercial. We just sort of forgot to put the commercial in it. But no, a lot of people really like it. Why do you like it? I'm curious.
I don't know, because I love basketball, and it was cool to see the best athlete at the time with the Looney Tunes. I know it's completely random, but it's the coolest thing in the world.
Well, no, it's not completely random. I mean, those are two huge icons coming in. That's why they did it for the commercials. It's two huge icons, and you know, one who's, you know, he's an athletic star, but he's boring as a brick, you know, and the wacky Looney Tunes. That's a great contrast. I mean, it makes sense to do it in a commercial, maybe even in a movie. But so you liked it because there's two things you really, really love coming together, pretty much. No, I can definitely understand that. No, I didn't like it because I felt it was very Looney Tunes light. You know, even the Daffy Duck, it's like, which Daffy Duck are we sort of going with here? Are we going with the really loony one or the jerky one? Bunny Boobies is still weird to me. and the reason I talk about it, because actually, even in the new Looney Tunes show, it's like, I know a lot of female cartoon characters, they still, you know, give them a feminine form and stuff like that, and they'll give them breasts and stuff, but it's like, they were so trying to push that, like, rabbits are sexy. And it's like the first female Looney Tunes, someone that can actually be goofy and out there and stuff like that, it's like, she's sexy. I'm like, really? Is that all you're doing? Well, it's like, define Lola Rabbit, you know, in like 5 sentences about Lola Rabbit. It's like, she's sexy and sexy. There's nothing else to it. I love the new show so much because they gave her this really funny personality. I think they just really did. Now she's like one of my favorite characters on that show. But yeah, but that's not the only reason. I mean, you watch the review, you know what I don't like about it. But no, lots of people, you heard all the people's likes. Lots of people love that movie. And you do fine. You're all insane, but it's fine. I mean, totally enjoy it, own it. A lot of people, you know, just totally adore that film. And nothing wrong with it. Totally enjoy it. Understand why you like it, you know, and you know, there is some stuff to like in there, definitely. So yeah, just totally own it. Yeah, red scarf there.
So a while ago, one of my friends got me into Phantom of the Opera, and I found out that there were tons of movies. So I watched all of them.
Oh, the Phantom of the Operas, really?
They're like, they're like original. Yeah, there are like 8 movies. Not only one day.
8? That's it? I thought there'd be a lot more.
There's like probably some like, I don't know, not very well known ones, but the 1989 one with Robert Englund, who's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
It really stuck out to me because I don't know, I just really liked it. So I started watching the Nightmare on Elm Street, and I really
genre. That was sort of amazing. Sort of with the Nightmare on Elm Street, kind of the Halloweens, or what, the Hellraisers, you know, sort of Gremlins and stuff that they're. It's exactly how you said. It's drenched in 80s and it's drenched in cheese, but at the same time, it's, you know, at the time it's like, whoa, this is kind of scary and stuff. But what I like about those films, they're very creative. My wife is looking for scary movies because movies don't scare us very much. So she's starting to open up a little bit more to like the creative stuff. And that's why I told her about Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like, look, this isn't the least bit scary. I'm like, but it's really creative. You know, I mean, just seeing the various ways, like him coming through the wall and stuff like that, and then the bathtub. I mean, there's a lot of cool, fun, creative stuff there. And yeah, sort of like you said, there's just its own worldly charm, you know, and I think 90s movies are going to start forming that. I think they almost already are. The other day, Braveheart was on. And, like, I just saw a segment, all it was just, you know, Mel Gibson talking to his lady friend, and then them riding on a horse, and she gets off, and he says something and rides off, and it's like, this is hilarious. Mostly because it's so drenched in what was popular at the time, and everything was just making Gibson look unbelievable but humble hero, and the music was playing the whole time. camera movements everywhere on the close-ups, and stuff like that. And everything was so elegant and beautiful, and it's really interesting that there is. It's the only word I can use is Spielbergian because he used that the most. And while it is sort of dating that stuff, I think it is sort of what you said with the cheesy '80s films. It's giving it sort of its own style and unique look, and it's just sort of its own fun world. So no, I can definitely see that. Let's see. Let's do Metallica.
Now, two things. First, I feel like I'm the only person on the planet who really liked the Ang Lee Hulk film.
You're not.
And the second thing, you listed Jim Carrey as one of those actors where it just feels like he's playing himself in every movie. But have you seen the new trailer for Kick-Ass 2? Because I did not realize it was him.
Okay, so that's two separate things. Okay, so what was the phrase? It was the Ang Lee Hulk. To Ang Lee's credit, I don't think he was just like, oh yeah, just superhero movie. I make big dollars, haha. He was really trying to go into the psychology of the monster and what it means to be going back and forth and stuff like that. And the attempt at sort of the comic. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to make a live action comic book. So you have the screen set like it's panels, and it's like, you know what? He's trying something different. Good for you. Good for you for trying. And
it makes it stand out more than like other more formulaic superhero films, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so I really give him credit for like trying this new stuff. I think what people didn't relate to, this one reviewer put it best. He said when even kids are bored of a movie about a giant green monster who goes around smashing stuff, you have a problem. I'm like, that's fair. Because when I saw it, I didn't know what to think of it. I'm like, is this really good or just kind of dumb? And when I look back, I'm like, okay, yeah, like the psychological analysis is interesting, but you do sort of need to offset it. If you're gonna go for the really goofy, the panels and all this stuff, you gotta go all out. You can't have them fighting poodles. That is lame. And that, yeah, I mean, it just seems like that where if you're gonna have the action, have the really good action. It really felt like to me it was the right director for the wrong movie. Like this director would be great doing. Actually, I hate to say it, something like the one of the Kick-Ass movies or something like that. Like I'd love to see what you could do with that. Maybe the panel thing and showing the fight like in the clouds and the images and stuff. Like I bet he could have a lot of fun with that because that's kind of a comedy. But when you're doing it for, something that's already goofy, big green monster smash stuff, no, it's a psychological journey. And it's like, in some respects it is, but you have to remember, it's a giant green monster that smashes stuff. So I think that's what people reacted to in terms of like not liking it. But again, I think there's stuff there. I think there's definitely stuff. It's like, no, it isn't just a phoned-in movie. I mean, he was trying new stuff, and I think that's really cool. And then you were talking about Jim Carrey, right? You were saying that, and not only, what the hell is the other movie? And not only Kick-Ass 2, there's another movie, was it The Burt Wonderstone? It might have been. That he's in, I was saying it's strange to see the word "and" above Jim Carrey's name now, because when I grew up, he was like just the god, of movies. But it's not necessarily a bad idea. And I think, when I say Jim Carrey plays himself, that's not what I meant. I'm not that he plays himself. Sometimes he does, but not that he does that. It's that I always see him. He's in a role. I agree with you about Kick-Ass 2, by the way. I was just like, if you didn't tell me that was Jim Carrey, I probably wouldn't have picked up on it. Yeah. So I hate the first Kick-Ass, by the way. I really hope the second one's better. But again, a lot of people like that movie. They're making a sequel. So it's just, different strokes. But every time I say that, I mean, it doesn't mean like, and they're always going to be, they can never get better or anything. It's like, of course they can. I hate Russell Crowe. I think every time I see him, it's just like, you are awful. But, like, when I saw Master and Commander, I still stand by, like, wow, that was an unbelievable performance. Like, not only was he good, I would follow this guy into death, like, guns blazing. I mean, he's that good. So, I mean, everybody has, whatever. I mean, anything can happen. They have their hidden talents or whatever. So it's never like, always give something a chance. And I can't act like I always do. Like when I saw Kung Fu Panda, I'm like, oh, great. But it's like, now it's like one of my favorite films. Yeah. So, it's always good to give something a chance. So even if I bitch and moan, it's like, I'm willing to be open. And you should too! Let's go back over here. Let's do redhead young lady there.
Movie that I well, actually it's a movie series that I personally am not fond of, and a lot of people love the Harry Potter series. Because I'm such a fan of the books is one reason, because they missed so much and they've changed so much, but also because there are people that had to come to me and ask, okay, so what was supposed to be going on here? Okay, I missed this. Why did Harry not have a wand anymore? Stuff like that. They tried in the end, seemed to maximize on splitting a book that could have been 2 movies, definitely, into 1 and a lot of fluff. I don't think they did it justice.
Well, and you're talking about some of the things the Harry Potter films are unbelievably mediocre. You know, and, well, I mean, but here's the thing. I will acknowledge, I'm happy as hell that it's gotten kids reading. I mean, kids reading now is friggin' huge. And I mean, but no, there really was a time where it was like just kids never read. I mean, we just didn't read it. Like, once in a while we have like a book, you know, maybe, but I mean, we just did not read. Now reading is like cool. You know, and that's really unbelievable. I hate to say it, but even something like Twilight, which you could still argue is doing more damage than good, but, you know, they're freaking reading at least, you know, and that really is, I don't think people always give credit to what a big deal that is. So even if I'm like, I don't get into Harry Potter, I don't see what the phenomenon is all about and stuff like that, I'm still ecstatic about that. But, yeah, so you don't like the movies because you don't like the way it connects to the book. You don't think it connects enough to the books.
That, as well as the fact that in some ways I don't think it played out properly to people who weren't familiar with the books, because I've actually had people ask me what's supposed to be going on.
Well, and this is another interesting part is, in terms of people not liking movies, adaptations. Many times, and again, there's no right way or wrong way to do it. Some people praised Les Miserables for actually having them sing live. You know, they said they made it much more gritty and real for the tone they're going for. Other people are like, dude, this is a musical. You're getting people who can't sing, you know, to sing in a musical. Well, what's wrong with you? And again, it's one of those, it's just going to be different for every person because there's no right or wrong way. And you almost wish there was, because you could just be like, this is how you do an adaptation and to please everybody. It's so rare, because when you do an adaptation, you have to change things. I mean, it's not the book. And sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse. I know people that love the Harry Potter movies and hate them for the exact reasons you said. They love them because they do follow the book so closely, or they hate them because they left so much out. I do know the one major thing, because when I saw the seventh film, I'll try not to spoil it, but one kid who was sort of in the sidelines sort of ends up saving the day. And when we saw that, and my brother and I, who have not read the books, we were sort of like, yeah, that was kind of weird they did that. And they were saying, well, the books were still being written when the first couple movies were being made. They didn't know this was going to be a major character, so they didn't put much focus on him. So then when they got to the last book, they're sort of like, oh shit, we got to put more focus on her. We're like already 6 films in, crap. Okay, well, we'll sort of give it more here. And so, you know, it's tricky. Adaptations are really, really tricky. And sometimes it's just a battle of, does this still hold true to what you liked in the book and to what many people enjoyed out of the books and is now being brought to the screen? Or did they mess with it too much, or they didn't properly grab it or comprehend it? So adaptations are very, very tricky. So yeah, let's do something else here. Let's do all the way in the back there, guy with glasses.
Yeah.
Not me.
Hat glasses or just glasses?
The guy talking.
This is actually still on the Harry Potter thing.
Okay.
Something that Harry Potter and, to an extent, Lord of the Rings did, is it did for fantasy what Star Wars and Star Trek did for sci-fi. They actually brought them into the mainstream, in which you can actually, you know, say, yeah, I like fantasy films, and not be, like, really freaking weird.
Well, no, let's get right. You're still really freaking weird. I know what you're saying. It's that, well, and they both came out at the same time. The Fellowship and the first Harry Potter came out the exact same year, both at the end of the year. So that was that fun comparison when everybody was saying, Harry Potter is better, Lord of the Rings is better. Nobody was saying Star Wars.
Star Wars doesn't have to talk, you know, it's the best.
Well, that was about when Fellowship came out. That was what a lot of critics were saying. Like, someone should write a postcard to George Lucas and be like, hey, good movie's being made here. Wish you were here. No, I agree. Actually, well, my biggest thing, honestly, if you're talking to me about, I don't want to say game changers, but maybe it kind of is. I actually think Game of Thrones is doing more for fantasy than any other fantasy ever has, because that is finally what I've always wanted to see in fantasy. To a point where I always thought, like, oh, well, one day when I become a world famous movie director, I'll make this happen. Is that I really wanted to see a fantasy world like this is a real world, like this could really exist, and part of that is showing the nitty gritty, holy shit, this is horrible stuff in that world, and Game of Thrones does. And even though I like Lord of the Rings a lot, I enjoy it greatly, it's still, I am Sauron, evil monsters, oh, you mean the creatures that look evil are evil? Okay. I like that, Game of Thrones is strategy and politics and talking, but there's also fantastic elements in there, and I really like that. See, to me, like, even when you say Lord of the Rings, it's sort of like, oh, okay, like, fantasy, wizards, ooh, and good versus evil and stuff, and Game of Thrones is so much more complicated. But I will admit, Game of Thrones would never have happened if it wasn't for Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings. So I agree. I think it did do a great deal. Let's see. Let's do young lady with the glasses there. Long hair.
The movie that a lot of people say do not like is Battleship.
Oh, and you liked it? Oh, what'd you like about it? I haven't seen it, but what'd you like?
It made me actually think of the game because the way.
Really?
I love that movie. It was a good movie.
I'm totally cool. I've never heard this.
But it even makes them think remotely like the game. But they bring it a lot deeper than that, and if they made that into an actual better game, I'd play it. I'd buy it and play it.
Oh, so your argument is actually that the game should be more like the movie. That's kind of cool. I've never heard that argument. See, like, I think that's really cool. It's like, you come up with people that just say something, it's like, it doesn't even click. Well, what did you like about the film? Specifically, you said it reminded you a lot of the game. How did it remind you of the game?
The way they use technology, the technology they used is not something well known. They used things that they were using like depth sensors to sense the ships in the dark because they couldn't see, and they even brought in a ship that nobody ever touched. They actually were allowed to touch one of the old battleships that, like, there was probably no other way they'd ever get to touch except for this movie.
So you like the fact that, they touched more on the technology of what it's like to not see it, sort of guess where to throw the bombs and stuff like that, as opposed to B1 miss and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, no, that's pretty cool. So you could probably get more in the game that they were like, if you had to shout commands and orders or feel it out like what they had to do in the movie then. See, that's cool. I think that's awesome. Actually, that would be pretty cool to see, like, a more high-tech, like, how they have, like, the real Ghostbusters, like, the real battleship. Like, you had to get dressed up in the military outfit, and so you have to say sir, and it's like, that'd be kind of cool. No, that's really awesome. I think that's really cool. Did I hear from you?
No, actually.
Go.
I know you finished, like, a DreamWorks where I don't know what it was, but you never got to Rise of the Guardians, and I was just, like, really curious on your opinion on that film.
Oh, well, we already answered that question, so you have to show up to rehearsals. We actually did a sibling rivalry on it. That's why I skipped it.
Oh.
But no, a quick sum up, I liked it. I thought it was very clunky at times and could have explained a little bit more, maybe better paced. But I thought it was creative enough and good enough characters and just a cool idea. I never would have recognized Alec Baldwin either. I thought he was great. I'm usually not an Alec Baldwin fan. I was just like, dude, he was awesome. So, no, I liked it. So, Superman. No, the other Superman.
Think of Al Pacino's acting on Jack and Jill. I think it was embarrassing.
He was in Jack and Jill. I haven't seen the movie. Well, first, no, let's ask the more important question. You saw Jack and Jill?
Was that the one with Adam Sandler?
I'm hoping it was just a morbid curiosity.
Hope you're on a plane.
But you thought no, and of all the things in the movie, you said Al Pacino was the worst thing too. That's accomplishment to be worse than Adam Sandler. But okay, so you saw Jack and Jill, and Al Pacino was the element that was like the worst of everything.
I like him in Scarface, but Jack and Jill, I think.
Al Pacino, there was a time. I don't want to say there was a time when he's a dignified actor. It's like he still is. I mean, but it's like. especially like in the late 80s and 90s, like just you got him to yell and nothing else. I mean, you know, my favorite was Any Given Sunday. Like the whole trailer was just like going, and then the big close, and then like the big slow mo shot at the end. You know, and it's just like, dude, this is I haven't seen him since. Maybe he went to Jack and Jill. Yeah, and then you feel like that's the guy from Godfather. It was just so still and so quiet, and would just with a nod, you just be like, oh wow, your art and stuff, and it's like, ah, the hell is that? So I haven't seen Jack and Jill, but I'll agree with you nonetheless because it's Jack and Jill. Let's do what is that? Goggles? Yeah.
So a movie, speaking of watching movies on beds, so movies that I really hate that the internet loves is the Lorax.
People like the Lorax?
Oh yeah.
I keep going, yeah.
I watched it out of bed, my friend made, and then he had a blast all
Could you ever
video games, so I got a $10 game in return, so it was better than mental scarring. I'm not sure if it was worth it. It was just like, I was like, what the hell is a movie about that people love so much about it? And it was the character of the Lorax and people the ones that people really like. And I didn't get it. And then I later just kind of raged at my roommates like this story. And it's like, it's Zac Efron goes on an adventure with Taylor Swift, but not really. And his grandma
What's Taylor Swift? It gets weird.
But Betty White, I know you gotta eat, but this is really embarrassing. And then he goes and hangs out with, I think it's Andy from The Office, who's the one-slur, and he tells Zac Efron about the one-slur who's played by Danny DeVito. And it's this movie that is, I watched Lindsay's review on it, her biopic about it, and it's just like, it really is the preachiest thing I've ever watched, where it's like, every 5 minutes, like, environmentalism! I'm like, oh my god, I get it, I know, I'm sorry for chopping trees. But I just thought, I was just like, I didn't understand the value of this movie, and I also thought it didn't look that great, it wasn't a very good looking animated movie. And
subtle.
The animation.
You know, the sad thing is, I really don't like what's going on with Dr. Seuss right now. I do not like what they're doing. And it's one of those things, I think it probably did start with The Grinch. And I'm not going to like blame everything on The Grinch, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, because it was a hit, and I can see why they are hits. I think the reason is because there is so much adult humor, a lot of energy, it's connecting to something that kids can read, but now it's updated and it's modern, and it's like, oh, it's what I love, but with current talk, you know, and those are my problem with Space Jam, honestly, you know, is that it's something that people love, but now it's modern, and to me, Dr. Seuss is so timeless, and the words are so perfect, and the stories are so perfect, and everything about it is so perfect that if you're gonna do those movies, you can't half-ass it like that. You can't play to the lowest common denominator, even if they have, you know, good messages or good whatever. See, to me, my thought of doing a Dr. Seuss adaptation is it would take much more work than any other adaptation you could do, because it is so simplified. But what could you do to actually make it longer to still capture the essence of that story and the characters and everything that is so simple? And some films can do it, you know, sort of clumsily. I actually think Polar Express did that pretty well. You know, it is clumsy. It's very clumsy. But it's like, no, this is Polar Express. This is the story, and these are the characters. You got it. You know, I have problems, but you got it. You know, the Grinch is not the Grinch. That's Jim Carrey acting like an ass. You know, the Lorax is not the Lorax. That's, you know, this little orange dot saying, hey, commercialism is bad, by the way, eat at IHOP. I'll be honest, you were talking about Lindsay's review, I could barely get through the review, it was hurting me so bad. When I was just seeing the choices they made, I was just, no, because as soon as I saw the preview, I'm like, no, I'm not seeing it. I'm just like, I know I'm not going to like this, why go see it? But sure enough, I just saw that, I'm just like, okay, let's watch it. I'm just like, no! and she hit everything that was wrong with it, too. It's a great review, actually.
An hour and a half watching the movie.
No! Yeah, I couldn't. You're braver than me. So, I mean, that's my guess why people like it, is because it does, to its credit, it's still enforcing the message, probably overly so. And it's sucking out the subtlety of it, but a lot of people like that. You know, a lot of people want to see the current talk. They want to see something. It's like, oh, I grew up with it. Now, I think they think that by adding the modern talk and the adult jokes, that makes it more adult. They're not realizing it makes it more childish. And that Seuss figured it out. He figured out the bare essence of a story and how it will stick with you. You know, and just because it was written for children, the fact that you still remember as an adult, you know, is really saying something. That makes it much more adult than it does something for children. And I think that's what they're missing with the movies. I'm sorry, one of my big Dr. Seuss rant there. Let's do Grey Guy.
Okay, so I want to go back. Well, I want to talk about two things. I want to go back to the Inglourious Basterds thing. My biggest problem with it is it didn't have enough blood for me. Like, if you look at Tarantino's
really,
movies, it didn't have enough. Okay, you look at his other movies and like.
Did you see Hitler's death?
Well, yeah, that part was awesome, but like.
Don't swastika in the head, man. That was pretty.
Yeah. But like, if you look at his other movies, like these people have 80 pints of blood apparently, and it's just going everywhere. Like if you look in Pulp Fiction, when you got Marvin sitting in the back and he turns around and he gets shot in the face. He's like, oh, I shot Marvin in the face. There's blood everywhere, all over the car. They have
but did you see Hitler get shot? And I was just like,
that was by far the best part of the movie.
It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that is one of those when you see it, it's like, yeah, maybe rewind that.
And then I want to talk about. Have you ever seen the movie The Room?
Guys, have never seen Okay, well, I mean, honestly, anything you're about to say right now, go online, just type in Nostalgia Critic The Room. Whatever you're going to talk about is going to be there. You'll find a fun little backstory, too.
Could I just get, like, your favorite scene/line from that movie?
You know, everyone, I know you're all going to think, like, you know, that you're tearing me apart, Lisa, but no, it's just, my favorite bit is just when he comes in, and it's just immediately, you know you're doomed. Because literally, he says 2 words.
Oh, hi, babe.
No. And he just botches it. It's 2 words. Hi, babe. That's all. Just, hi, babe. You're doing right now. Hi, babe. Yeah, I mean, basically, how's you doing? Hi, babe. It's 2 words, and you got the inflections wrong. And it's just as soon as that scene popped up, I'm like, oh my god, is this the movie? Is this the maker? I'm like, it can't be, it can't be. So that's just my favorite line, because it was just the perfect predecessor to what will be coming. So, yeah, that's my favorite line from that. Let's see, yes?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
gosh. A movie that I particularly enjoy that I guess no one else seems to really like is Independence Day.
Oh no, a lot of people like that.
I love that movie.
No, a lot of people. But what do you like about it?
Well, Will Smith obviously is badass.
He was very cool.
And as a kid, I kind of enjoyed Jeff Goldblum's character.
I had a girlfriend that was like had the hugest crush on Jeff Goldblum. What is it about like? Yeah, there's like from Jurassic Park to Independence Day, like every young woman and girl is just like, you know, oh, Jeff Goldblum. I'm like, really? I'd like to take your clothes off right now. Maybe go down and you and
Welcome to the Jeff Goldblum Hour. You see, the secret to doing the perfect Jeff Goldblum is to insert ahs, ands, and buts in every sentence. Secret is to never complete a full sentence without going or
In 3D, yes. I can't wait to see where he gets up to the camera and says, there are dinosaurs here in 3D. No, a lot of people like that movie, and a lot of people like Will Smith in anything. I think you can just assume like it's not fair because you just be like, yeah, he gets a pass. Like just the movie could suck, the writing could suck, but just he's always fine. You know, he's sort of like just the little god of Hollywood right now. But no, a lot of people like that movie. I don't like it, but I mean, a lot of people, they say it's just a great popcorn movie. So no, you're definitely not alone on that one. Let's see. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No,
Bro is so thankful.
I honestly loved the RoboCop trilogy, but the problem I loved the second one more than the first. But the one that I thought just killed it, they're just milking it for every penny they can get, was the third movie. I mean, like, really, they gave him a freaking jetpack. Like, how?
I haven't seen it.
It was just like, what are you doing? You're milking it now.
I heard. I've only seen the first. Even the first one I just saw last year. I didn't grow up with the movie, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
The second one was even better.
I haven't seen the second or third, but I have had a lot of people ask me to review the third. Apparently, it is like phenomenally bad.
It's just like they gave him a jetpack. It was like the writing was bad. They kill his old partner from the first movie.
Oh, spoiler!
Oh, sorry, my bad. I just like, I didn't know you didn't see it. I thought you did see that. It was just one of those movies where I thought they milked it for every penny they could get. I mean, of course it's still RoboCop, but like, wow, this couldn't have been any more god awful, you know?
I may have to check that out because so many people asked, you got to review RoboCop 3, so I'll probably have to check it out. So you never know, might be a future. I didn't know he had a rocket pack. Actually sounds cool to me.
Did Frank Miller write the third one?
Did he? Oh, now I gotta see him. I gotta see him. I gotta see Miller time with that. Let's see. Yeah, let's go more over here. Let's do a guy standing up there.
Oh yes.
Clearly not paying attention.
Just out of curiosity, were there any actors that you watched their movies? Are there any actors that you think either do exceptionally well or exceptionally bad, like no in between?
Well, you should save that for the Q&A, my friend. This is about you now. This is Dr. Phil. You're trying to push over there. It's about you. About you, okay? No, I'll answer the question.
I'll take this yes.
Well, what's the question again?
Do you feel as though there are some actors that do either exceptionally well or exceptionally bad with their movies? Like there's no in between.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about this a little bit. I don't know. Every actor or actress, you know, will pick the one good one or the one bad one or whatever. I mean, it'll just happen. Cuba Gooding Jr. is a good actor, and yeah, he's just picked crap for a long time, and now he's serving the straight-to-DVD stuff, and it's sort of like, that's a shame. He's good. Yeah. No, you know what? I'll tell you someone who I think is a great actor picks such shit. Denzel Washington.
I didn't like
actor, and it's like, but I never see any of his movies because I'm like, well, that movie looks awful and boring, and you know, but I'm sure he's great. You know, and that's what everyone says. The movie's boring and terrible, and like he's great. You know, so yeah, everyone's like, what do you think of Denzel? Well, when I've seen him, it's usually good, but I usually don't because he's usually in shit. So I love to see him in more good movies because it's a good actor. But yeah, that's all I get. Let's see. Who haven't I heard from? I don't think I heard from you.
I hated Super 8.
Oh, Super 8? Oh, what did you like about it?
Just the fact that to calm the creature down, he basically has a one-on-one therapy session. It's okay,
yeah, you know,
understand. And then I just hated the acting of the kids. It was agonizing to watch for me.
You know, I was trying to remember. There's a few movies where it's like I remember liking the movies, but I realized I forget the endings. And that was one where I'm like, yeah, they do something to the alien, but I can't remember what they did. Was that it? They talk it down? Was that what they did?
He's about to kill the kid and about to like eat his torso. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And then he touches his forehead and says, it's okay. It's okay, calm down. I understand how you feel. I'm not sure the alien had a mother that died and a cop father who was ignoring him.
Hey, you don't know that alien.
And just the best character in the movie is the black guy that died at the beginning. Oh, okay.
What's wrong with that? I like the black guy. Oh! Klansman meetings down the street. Actually, it's weird that they have a Klansman meeting at NIU, but nevertheless. But now I know why. Sorry. Went way too far in that.
I didn't say I did like. I said he was the best character because he had.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Your chia pet is dying. No, gigapet. So I was I messed that up. Okay, keep going. You were at, we're all racist crackers. Keep going. No, it turns out, when I saw them, the funny thing about J.J. Abrams I'm finding is that phenomenal build-up, this guy. In Cloverfield, unbelievable build-up. Super 8, great build-up. And Star Trek, great build-up and stuff like that. I always find that when he delivers, it's like he gives you exactly what you think you're going to see, and maybe a touch more. That's about it. Which, okay, it's not bad. It's just I thought more, like a lot more. It's like Cloverfield. It looks like a monster movie. What is it? A monster movie. Okay, and Super 8. Well, it looks like one of those old '80s, sort of sci-fi kids. No, it wasn't an old '80s sci-fi kids. Oh, okay, neat. But the one thing, but again, he always gives a little extra, and I love that they show the movie they made in the end. That was hilarious. Yes. That was my favorite part. Yes. But I'm sort of with you. I would like more out of it. He's so good at the build-up. Very few times does it really, it can deliver, but never, wasn't that a really good delivery. Lost. But yeah, no, I see where you're coming from with that. All the way in the back, guy holding the red phone there, whatever it is.
Yes. 2 orders of business. First, sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Okay, yeah, sparkle, sparkle, sparkle!
Yeah, sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Anything he touches is perfect.
Oh, no. Let's clarify.
5,000 fingers of Dr. T.
Oh, that is beautifully horrible. I've seen that movie, and yeah, it's stupid as hell. I'll give you another one. The Grinch Meets the Cat in the Hat. Terrible. Yeah. Terrible. And he wrote that. It wasn't even in rhyme. I will not stand by everything he touches was perfect, but he did make some perfect things. And people are taking the perfect things and trying to put their own, trying to de-perfect it. Now, there's something I will say, by the way, about, we were talking about this with adaptations, I think is very important. Because a lot of people think that, you can't try anything to adaptate. You have to just bring the book or whatever the original was, to the screen or bring it to life or something like that. And what people do forget, even with something like the Star Wars prequels and stuff, the original's still there. It's not like, Nazi Germany where they're going in just like, no, you cannot see Star Wars anymore! These are new Star Wars now! This is, it's still there. And Dr. Seuss, as much as I complain about, the movies, and I don't think they get the idea of what Dr. Seuss is, we still have the books, and so I yell at the movies because I figure you could bring something really cool out of this. You could bring, really expand even more on why it's so good, but that doesn't take away from the fact it's still really good. So I think that is something that a lot of times we do forget. Or Lord of the Rings or any adaptation that we, raise our fists at and say, hey, you didn't have my favorite scene. But it's just, that's always going to be a part of adaptation. I can't think of any adaptation I've seen that I was just like, that's a perfect adaptation. But I have seen several that have gone beyond what the original source material had. That's really something. And it's risky. But a lot of times it doesn't work too. So, it's all up for debate. But I think just because something doesn't stick to the original subject material, it doesn't always mean it's bad. So, yeah.
Have you ever heard of a movie called Shrooms? Shrooms? It's like a scared straight kind of movie. These 4 kids go in the forest, find a bunch of drugs like mushrooms. They start eating them. It's like a horror movie, and they start freaking out, thinking somebody's killing them, like some sort of witch. But it's not a witch. It's one of the main characters, but you don't know which one.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
It's like devil.
It's a really stupid movie. My friend Iker told me about that movie. I was going to ask you when I was doing my RoboCop thing, but I was just curious about that because I didn't know if you seen that yet.
No. It sounds funny enough.
It scared me a little bit, but yet at the same time, it was really dumb.
Okay, cool. No, I'll definitely check it out.
All right, thank you.
Sure, I remember that.
All right, see ya. All right, thank you.